Alright, now we're going to solder the terminals on the XLR. Now, it's only important which terminals you solder to based on which terminals you solder to on the inside of the speaker. Make sure you've got 1, 2, and 3 that you hook it up the same way. I would recommend 1 and 3 being the terminals you use, but you can use any of them, as we said before. But if you use 1 and 3, they're going to be right across from each other just like this, and not use the bottom pin. In this case, it really doesn't matter what you do. So I'm going to tin these real quick. I'm probably going to go ahead and tin these two. And it flows in there pretty nicely. Now this might be where it's going to be tough to do this with 2 hands, because you've got to try to hold both of these parts together and solder them together. That's not going to be easy. So let me see if I can, yeah, hold on. The trick that I've used in the past is you get a pair of pliers to hold one part for you, even though it's not super tight. At least it's holding on to it for you. There you go. The little spring pieces on the inside hold it nice and tight. I'm going to get a little extra solder on here first to start. Not too bad. Do the other side real quick. Once you get the first side, the other side will pretty much hold itself in place. So you really just gotta come over here and hit it with a little bit of heat and a little bit of extra solder, and they'll connect each other. There you go. Pretty simple. Okay, now you put this little ring back on. Actually, I don't know why you need the ring. Actually, you need the locking piece first. This one. I forgot to put in there. Not enough room, is there? That's not going to fit without getting this thing out of the way more. I don't think you're going to be able to pull it that far. Maybe you can. Check that out. Good idea. Just yank on the wire a little bit and it slides through. Put the little locking mechanism in there. That goes down. That will get crammed down inside of this part when it comes time. We'll put the little metal jacket piece in there. this piece locks in around the metal piece. It's basically a connector for the two, I guess. And once all that's lined up, then you can slide the body back on. There you go. Once you've got it pushed all the way forward, then you can take this and the braiding, bunch it up, slide it forward, and thread these two together. And this is going to be tight, that's for sure. There you go. One super tight little XLR locking connector for your speaker wires. I'm going to hit this right here with the heat gun again, just to shrink that down, make it look a little bit prettier, because we kind of mangled it a little. I'm trying to melt the rubber, but get the heat shrink. That'll kind of shrink the heat shrink again a little bit tighter, a little bit nicer. There we go. It's a little toasty. So there you go. You've got one end with the XLR, the other end with just your heat shrink. These we're going to snip off and strip back. Now when it comes to putting your binding post into this stand, this is something I heard a long time ago from a commercial, he was a commercial architectural engineer. He had said that in hospitals, if the hospital is done to code, every 3-prong 110 outlet should be upside down. That's so if something ever comes down and hits the extension cord on the wall of the outlet, they'll always hit the common ground rather than hitting one of the hot legs. So I've been doing that on everything I ever do. The top is always the ground. So if something ever comes down and hits here, once your speakers are standing up and something falls and lands on one of your speaker wires or terminals or whatever, it always hits a ground, not the positive lead, which has, you don't want to get electrocuted or shocked. So always put the ground on top. Put your positive lead on the bottom. Save you from possible problems down the road. These are very simple. Now what I'm probably going to do is I'm going to fish the wire through here, solder everything, and then tighten it down after it's in. And again, take all this plastic stuff off so that you don't melt anything again. Okay, now we'll fish the wire through the extrusion real quick. Okay. Now again, put the black wire on top. black and red wires sticking out. Now we're going to strip these back. I'll cut them off so they're about the same length coming out of the hole. Tin your wires. And usually try not to solder over top of your finish. That's how you can really mess up a paint finish or anything. So we'll just use the gloves for a minute to do this, just so we don't get any solder on the metal. Tinned pretty nicely. Now, we're going to have to make sure, actually, you know what, I already made a mistake. We got to pull these back through because we forgot to put the nuts and washers on the inside first. So, let's pull these back out. Let's see, we need a nut and the two black washers first on this side. Then we need the other nut and the other two red washers on this side. Now we gotta try to fish these back through again with all the hardware on there. That won't be so easy. Not too bad. Okay. Yeah, I think we got it. Make sure they're in there right. Yep. Might actually be easier to do the black one first and then the red one. Try that. I'm not sure what's going to be easier. We'll do one first and see how it goes. Alright, now you're going to want to tin this thing, which is going to get hot, so be careful. This is something else I use my little scrunchie for, is to hold things that you don't want to burn something else. So we'll set it there, I can push on it, get it super hot and not have to worry about messing up the tablecloth or anything. Like I said, the butane torch is definitely a better way of going when it comes to soldering to these things. way faster. Well, looks like it's on there. Now I'm going to put this over here just so I don't burn anything. See, forgetting other stuff too. So I have to put these plastic pieces back on and get it hot enough to solder to. That piece has to go on first so it can go through into the hole and act as a grommet. Okay. I'm going to let that cool down for a minute because I know that's going to be really hot. I don't want to have to try to get my fingers down in there and do this.